Songwriter Circle. My name is Lisa Hanson. First, I would like to thank you for watching. I would like to thank everyone for liking us on Facebook, for all the kind words, for the store conversations. Thank you so much for watching tonight, or watching today. Today we have with us A.J. Collier, songwriter, singer, songwriter, A.J. Collier. A.J., welcome to the Songwriter Circle.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're so welcome. I'm glad that you're here.
Praise
I'm
God.
so excited. Tell me a little bit about yourself. Where are you from?
I'm from Chester, Pennsylvania, little
Okay.
small town, 610. PK, all that good stuff, preacher's kid.
You're a preacher's kid.
Yeah,
Oh, wow. So you were raised up in the ministry.
yes, unfortunately.
Now, is that also for singing and songwriting as well?
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about that.
Grew up playing, singing, ushering, doing all that type of things, and songwriting just kind of came second nature, you kind of say.
Okay.
It was never something that was planned. It was always kind of like spirit led, you know, and so that's pretty much it.
You know, a few weeks ago we had Pastor Frank Bateman online, and he said the same thing. You know, it's just something that was inspired by God.
Right.
You know, not really something that he planned to do. His family was musical, same type of background, which is very interesting. So you said you also play? What
Yes.
instruments?
Well, you know, in church, I found it that most people who play the keyboard started playing with drums. And so I started with drums, and then I eventually moved on to the organ and the keyboard and that type of thing.
Okay, so you can play a full rendition.
Yes,
Oh, that's awesome. I don't have those skills, unfortunately. I wish I did.
you can get it.
I had a mean piano teacher, so he kind of scared me away from, I just pluck,
Right.
but I do enough to get by. So let's go back to your songwriting history. So you started when you were young.
Very young.
Do you remember what your first song was?
I really don't. I know that I wrote it down and they put it on the refrigerator, but I don't remember what the song was. I know they still have it somewhere. I'm sure it was about God because I was just a church kid, so that's all I knew was church.
What's the first one you remember?
The first song I remember writing is called Lord You're Awesome, and it was when I first started playing the keyboard and I put words to it because I'm not classically trained. I play by ear.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So do you have a particular method when it comes to creating songs?
Well, with me, it's pretty much different because, like I said, it's spirit led. Like I will have a song in my dreams or something, or I'll hear it before it actually comes out. So it's not like I sit and try to. I don't have song like writing sessions.
Right.
If I write a song, it's definitely like from God. It's something that I couldn't get away from, or it's been on my mind, or something like that.
So do you keep a notepad by your
I
bed?
keep a notepad by my bed, and I have a whole long list on my iPhone. We have a notepad on there as well, and so if I hear something, I just jot it down, and I just try to go play it out and that type of thing. But if God gives me a song, it's definitely peculiar. It's not like something I'm trying to work on.
So when you get the song and it's inspired by God, you write it down, okay, which is very important because
Right.
a lot of people, they get the idea, they'll sing it a couple of times, and oh yeah, that sounds good. And they'll go about their business and
Right.
say, I had a song, it went, but they didn't take the time to
Right.
write it down, to commit it. So after you write it down, do you sing it yourself? Do you share it with other people? How does it then grow?
I sing it, and we also have on our phones something we call voice notes, so you can record. And so I just read the words and and record it on my phone, me myself. That way I don't have to worry about nobody trying to steal it or anything else.
Right,
and so, and I also have GarageBand, so that kind of gives you the ability to do 3 parts. So if you want to add 3 parts on there. So I mean, with modern technology of today, it's a way better process, I think, than it would be, you know.
And I was just about to ask you if you then go back and do all the
Right.
different harmonies. Now, this is hilarious. So when I was a kid, I used to come up with songs, right? So this is way back, this is before your time, I'm sure. when they had the little tape recorders. So I would sing. I would have two tape recorders, and the first time I would sing into the tape recorder, right? So the second time I would play it back and have the next tape recorder recording as I sang with,
Right.
you know, sang with the first one.
Right.
Is that similar to what GarageBand is
I mean,
like?
GarageBand is basically what it's the version on my phone is a smaller version of what takes place in the studio. It's a studio. It's literally was what people use in the studio.
Okay.
Like for instance, when GMWA Delaware we come out with our project, 9 times out of 10 they'll use something like GarageBand, or it's another application that they use. So it's kind of the same process.
So you're playing it back and you're singing over top of
Right.
your original
How
recording.
you would do in the studio.
Yeah,
Correct.
yeah, until you get the sound that you like.
Right.
And then what do you do after you get all your levels together, your soprano, alto, tenor, and I assume that you key it as well. Then what's next after that?
I pretty much kind of listen to it and I might tweak something and go back and change something, you know. And lately I've been kind of just, you know, seeing, well, who's this song for, you know, trying to ask God, well, you know, is it for me? And that's a whole nother conversation, but, you know.
Well, you know, one of the exciting things about AJ is that he writes some really awesome music. And, you know, I really appreciate the craft that God has given you. The songs that were just placed recently with the GMWA, everyone loves it,
Praise
you
God.
know. And it's a song that speaks to the heart of people, speaks to the heart of worship.
Right.
You know, I heard something on the radio recently, and a songwriter was saying that in this day and age, songs have, you know, before the songs were for the people, you know, what makes them jump, what makes them move. But now the songs are vertical.
Right.
You know, it's from your heart to God's and from
Right.
God back down.
Right.
You know, which is popular. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, it's always been my theory, there are 2 major types of gospel music or inspirational music, whatever you want to call it. Like you said, there's horizontal music, songs that are written from me to you to encourage you. Then there are vertical songs from us to God. And I think a lot of times people confuse the two because, especially for instance, I think most times I write songs for praise and worship. That's
Okay.
kind of my vein. And sometimes we sing horizontal songs during praise and worship. And that's kind of,
That's not the right time.
That's not the right time. We shouldn't be singing I need you, you need me.
Right.
For praise and worship. That's stuff that is encouraging one another.
Right.
And so, I mean, I just think we have to take the time to classify and learn what's horizontal, what's vertical, what's inspirational. Some of it's not even gospel. And it's fine, but, you know, just learn placement.
He has to know, you need to know its place.
Right.
And to be used at the appropriate time.
Definitely.
You know? So we've jumped around a lot. I want to get back to you as an artist. We know that your music is inspired by God, and that's where you get your inspiration. You know, what is your style like? We said praise and worship, but would you liken yourself to anyone else? Do you think your style is unique?
I really don't hear it, but a lot of people say I have like the new like Mally music, Travis Green type style.
Okay.
But I'm a church boy, so it's an eclectic mix. You know, it's everybody all in one. And so I really wouldn't be able to place myself, I guess. You know, I do have that praise and worship sound, but I can go churchy, and I'm a choir director too, so it just all depends on the situation.
So what do you do to kind of build yourself up in your craft as far as songwriting is concerned?
Well, as far as songwriting is concerned, I kind of just try to make sure that the songs that I'm writing are relevant, and, you know, kind of make sure, not relevant just to us, but relevant to God, and make sure that they make sense, because a lot of songs these days don't have any substance and don't really make much sense. And as far as perfecting my craft, I just try to make sure that, you know, like I said, it makes sense. Songwriters should tell a story. It should not just be, you know, Mary Had a Little Lamb and I went to the market and one song. It should have you should be trying to tell a story, a focal point. And so,
I was talking to you a little while ago about a music conference that I attended in Baltimore, and one of the great things I heard is that music should basically linger. You
Right.
know, people should be able to feel your music. You know, they say the example they used is like when someone's cooking a barbecue, you don't have to be there to see the barbecue. You don't have
Right.
to see the food, but you can smell it.
Right.
You know what I mean? And with good gospel music, you know, you don't have to be right there, but you can hear it or you can feel it.
Right.
It leaves an impact, it impacts your senses.
Right.
You know, and it leaves something with you, you know,
Absolutely.
and draws you in. So if I were to grab your cell phone or your iPod today, who would be listed in your iPod?
Well, most definitely, my dear brother Aurelius Palmer.
Also, hear from another local
Right.
singer-songwriter.
Known for years. My godmother, my mentor, Tia Pittman. She'd definitely be in there. One of my very close
Tia
friends.
is awesome. It just
and
took
she
me a minute.
actually, she actually kind of helped shape my songwriting as well,
Oh, that's awesome.
and my singing. Vincent Bohannon, another one of my friends from out of Brooklyn, New York.
Okay.
I probably listen to his song every day. He has a choir, so it's a different style of writing. But it's important that we have all types of music. I also listen to Tori Kelly. Even though I'm a gospel artist, I listen to different types of art because I believe that we should be well versed
Right.
and versatile.
Right.
While we shouldn't necessarily confuse darkness and light.
Right.
But if it's a good message and it's a good song, you know, so you can hear anything, Stevie Wonder, anything.
Yeah, I mean, music, if it speaks to you, you know what I mean?
Right.
And it is a good message, then, you know, it's life.
Right.
You know, and it may not specifically be, like you said, gospel.
Right.
You know, but I believe that any kind of music has the ability to, you know, impact us, whether it is, as
Absolutely.
long as it's not for the other guy, but you know what I
Right.
mean, as long as it's speaking life,
Right.
you know what I mean, and has a positive message, I think is good.
Absolutely.
So, what are your goals for 2016 as far as your music is concerned?
2016, I plan to, I'm going to work on a solo project.
Really?
Yes.
That's awesome. I'm excited about that.
I'm excited, but it's something that that has been kind of presented to me a few times. So I'm like, okay, Lord, you know, I hear you. So we're going to do that. Continue to do background work for a few people.
Okay.
I also I'm the vocal director for a few groups, like kind of like vocal training and
Oh,
making
that's
sure
awesome.
their blend is good. And so,
You're teaching vocals. Now, wow. First of all, let me just say, you seem kind of young. How old are you?
I'm 22.
You're 22. That's
Right.
incredible. So you were singing since you were a child, I think you said, right?
Before I was talking.
Before you were talking. And then what about elementary school, high school, any training? Or what did you do during those times?
Those times I actually had a music teacher who became one of my mentors, Pastor Sandra Ben. She's in the Delaware area. And she kind of helped cultivate me. That was through elementary and middle school. High school, the late Reverend Andrew Kirkland was my music teacher, and so he trained me and kind of cultivated my gift, even outside of gospel. So classical and Broadway tunes and R&B and jazz. Because actually before him, I was just church. That's all I knew. But and then in between all of those areas, Brian Pittman, one of my godfathers, and the late Ernie Saunders, all of those people definitely impacted me. The late Harry Woodhouse.
Wow.
And
so then you're taking all those things that they've sown into you,
right.
and now taking that and sowing into the lives of other people.
Right.
And that's incredible. You know, they planted seeds, and then you're planting seeds, and those seeds are going to grow and be productive and be a blessing into others. So let's go back and talk about your placements. You've written so many songs, and you recently got placed with the Northern Delaware chapter of the Gospel Music Workshop of
Yes,
America.
yes. Whoop, whoop,
That is
whoop.
awesome. Ooh, ooh. Yeah, for real. Who else have you been placed with?
I've written songs for another group that I happen to serve, and I'm also serving as vocal director for TJ Wilkins and Complete Deliverance
Okay.
out of Philadelphia. I'm also working with Nick Reynolds and Family Affair that's out of the Philadelphia area as well. They're working on a project, and I have to write songs for one of my friends has a choir in Florida. It's just a lot, so I'm kind of trying to pace myself in a good
Right,
way.
right. Well,
But
that's awesome. So when they come to you, do they say, "Hey, AJ, do you have a song for us?" Or do they tell you, "Well, I'm looking for something"? Could you just, how does that work?
they most times they I don't know why, because if you know me, I'm a kind of a chill person, but lately they have deemed me as the hit maker of this time, because
Okay.
we don't have many writers
Right,
now.
right,
Nobody's writing.
right, right.
Everybody's singing the same
Everyone's
stuff.
singing. Uh huh.
So they kind of say, I know I need a song, and they kind of tell me what kind of song it is. And at this point, I have a portfolio of different type praise and worship choir type, classical. I'm even working on the hymn anthem type song,
Okay.
but that's harder. So
Yes.
that's going to take some time. But so they just basically come to me saying, I need music, and I try to help them the best way I can.
Okay. Well, we appreciate your gift and the talent that God has given you, because
Praise
it is
God.
definitely a blessing, since I've known you, just getting up and watching you. And you're so humble and you're always so quiet, you know.
I try to be, because um, we have too many haughty people, and then sometimes they're haughty and their gift is not even, you know.
Hmm.
So that's my prayer. I think I put that on the status the other day. Lord, keep me humble.
Yeah.
Lord, let me stay clay, because if I'm not clay, if I'm not moldable,
Hmm.
then you can't work with me. And
Yeah.
then so.
Yeah. And at this stage of your life, a lot of young people are looking up to you. They're
Absolutely.
watching everything that you do, and you have the opportunity to change their lives forever, you know. Let me ask you a question. So for that young person that's watching us today, and they aspire to be a songwriter, they've written, had a little notebook, they've had some songs. What would you say to them? What would you say to encourage them or motivate them in their craft?
I would encourage them to stay with God, most definitely. Keep your ear to what he's doing and what he's seeing in that particular time and season, and to just stay focused. Make sure you're on top of everything musically. Make sure you work on your craft and you're listening and you're trying to hear.
Then when you say on top of everything musically, what do you mean specifically?
I mean, like, make sure you know what key you want your song to be in. That's most important. Make sure you know how you want it to be sung.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure you know how do you think, or how do you hear in your mind how the vocals are to be executed.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
know that all that type of stuff involves songwriting. It's not just words.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have to tell a story, like I
Right.
said before. So.
So any of the songs that you've shared, have you had a time where you shared the song and you said, "This is how I want it to go, and this is how it should sound," and you've given it to someone to sing it, and they've, didn't sing it exactly the way you wanted it to? How did you handle that? And
Well,
how did you correct it to get it to sound like, because a lot of times these are your friends, right?
right. Well, most times I haven't had somebody who I didn't know contact me yet, but I think I want to say you were there um, in the rehearsal that I was doing. And like you said, I'm pretty much quiet and I'm humble, but when it comes to music and how it should be portrayed, I'm no nonsense, especially when it's something that's come from me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So you approach it, and you're not nasty or nice nasty, but you approach it and make sure that it goes how you hear it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if they choose to do something different with it when you're not there, then
That's another
that's
story.
another story.
Right.
But you have to make sure you have that authority type, without being nasty, but have that authority. First of all, to teach it correctly. They
Mm-hmm.
might not hear it correctly because you're not you're not executing it correctly.
Right, right.
And so, I mean, you just do the best that you can and try to remain respectful but authoritative.
Right.
And so,
And it makes the difference because, I was thinking just recently about, someone teaching a song. And I was in a situation where you had two people teaching the same song. And you can tell the difference
right,
between the way one person taught it
right,
and the way the other person taught it. One person came with authority, as you said, and corrected, and I think the other was more like, this is how we want it done, and
right,
no, you're not quite there, but keep working on it,
right,
you know what I mean, as opposed to pushing them to be all that they can be.
right.
So that's exciting. Well, one of the things that I would like for you to share with our audience is I would like you to give them an example of one of your songs that you've written, something that you think that will be a blessing to our viewers, and just to give them a taste of A.J. Collier, and his style and his craft. Would you do that for us today?
Sure.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to present to you here for the first time on the Songwriters Circle, A.J. Collier. A.J., take it away.
Rock of Ages, soon coming King, the reason I worship, the reason I sing, and I will worship you always. Comfort by day, song in the night, hope of salvation, Jesus the light, and I will worship you always. Bless the Lord, oh my soul, and all that's within me, I will worship you always. Bless the Lord, oh my soul, and all that's within me, I will worship you always.
Oh, that is awesome. I love that song. And I can sit here and I can rock the whole time because I just love that song. And in the back of my eyes, there's a tear. I'm like, that's my song. That song, again, it speaks to the Spirit of God in us and causes us to want to worship.
Right.
You know what I mean? Causes us to want to lift your hands and to sing and to, just to surrender to God.
Right.
And so, songs like that, to me, that's a hit. That song is a hit. I'm telling you here on Songwriter Circle, that song is a hit.
And I receive it.
Amen. So, I'm excited. I cannot wait to see what is going to happen with your ministry, and you as a songwriter, all the places that God has for you. Again, the songs that I've heard have been wonderful. Just so you know, after the concert, Northern Delaware Gospel Music Workshop live recording concert, my family was there.
Wow,
I was excited that they were there. And you have a hit when people are still singing your song after they've left the venue. Wow. And I just want you to know that you have spoken into the lives of people. And I just want to encourage you to continue to write and continue to let God use you because you definitely have a gift.
Wow, praise God. Thank you so much.
You are so welcome. AJ, I would like to thank you for being a part of the Songwriters Circle. It is really an honor to have you and just to be a part of your life at this point. And, when you blow up, I'm going to say, hey, you saw them first here on the Songwriters Circle. Thank you for coming.